After Luke Adams was diagnosed with lung cancer, I received a divorce agreement from Julia Reed. Listen, Luke only has a few months left. His only wish is to marry me. It's just a fake divorce to appease him. Stop being so petty. Luke Adams leaned against her, looking weak, as if he would die the moment I didn't give my permission. I struggled to swallow my anger and said nothing this time. Instead, I quietly accepted the divorce certificate. When I truly left, Julia Reed panicked completely. Luke Adams posted his latest update. 10 years later, having you by my side is truly wonderful. The photo showed him and Julia Reed holding hands tightly. The ring I gave Julia Reed had somehow ended up on Luke Adams' hand. Our classmates all replied in unison. I never thought you two would get back together. I knew Ben Harris and Julia Reed would definitely get divorced. This is the power of first love. I forced a weak smile, realizing that my 5 years with Julia Reed had been nothing but a joke. I couldn't resist leaving a sarcastic comment. Let's wish this old couple a lifetime of happiness. Almost immediately, Julia Reed called me. Ben Harris, you're crazy. Stop talking nonsense on social media. Luke is in poor health and can't handle any more stress. I played with the keys in my hand. Which comment upset him? Or did I say something wrong? My voice was light, but Julia Reed sounded helpless. I know you don't like Luke, but we're both doctors. Just pretend you're fulfilling his last wish. I already explained it to you this afternoon. Why are you making a fuss again? Fine, forget it. Just go home and find the marriage certificate. Finding the marriage certificate was, of course, to go and tear up the divorce certificate. I sneered. A wish. Isn't it enough that you've been with him all this time? Why does he have to marry you? Julia Reed suddenly got anxious. He's my patient. So what if I'm a little closer to him? As a doctor, shouldn't I show some humanistic care? Enough. I told you it's just a fake divorce. I clenched my phone, holding back my anger. I could hear Luke Adams' voice. Harris, I know you hate me, but Julia and I are clean now. I understand. But Julia just wants to make sure my life has no regrets. His voice was thick with gloom. This broke Julia Reed's heart. Luke, stop talking. I promise I will do what I promised you. Then she shouted at me. Are you happy now? You're a madman. I stared in disbelief at my phone. This was the first time I felt that Julia Reed was not worth my love. Back at the house, I shared with Julia Reed. It had long lost the atmosphere of life. Both of us were busy spending more time at the hospital. My luggage was minimal, a 26-inch suitcase that contained everything I had accumulated over the years. I dug out a wooden box from the back of the wardrobe, the one we had bought the day we registered for marriage. We had solemnly placed the Reed book in it and thrown away the key. Julia Reed had said, "We will never open this box." I had carefully preserved it for a long time, but now no one cared about it. That evening, Julia Reed unexpectedly came home and brought me a gift. It's specially for you. Don't be angry with Luke. She walked straight to the room and laughter came from inside. I opened the box. Inside was a black checkered scarf. It was from a luxury brand, not expensive to me, but Julia Reed had previously opposed me buying it. Although I don't have a say in your money, is it really necessary to buy something so expensive? If I get pregnant in the future, we'll have many more things to spend money on. So, I deleted the scarf from my shopping cart. The moment I picked up the scarf, my hand froze. Julia Reed was very sensitive to scents, and after being with her, she insisted that I stop using perfume. Perfume will affect my work. For her, I had painfully given up my habit. But now, this scarf smelled faintly of wood. It was Luke Adams' usual perfume. Such provocative tactics were endless. Last time, it was the car ornament Julia Reed changed. This time, it was the scarf. What would it be next? I tossed the scarf aside. Julia Reed took a long time to come out. Luckily, I found the marriage certificate. Otherwise, we'd have to get a replacement and waste more time. She grabbed the wooden box and shook it, then mercilessly threw it on the floor. The box instantly shattered, and the red book fell out. In that moment, I realized that my relationship with Julia Reed was just like that box, broken beyond repair. After graduation, I joined the hospital where I work now and met Julia Reed. At work, we often argued over surgical plans. In life, since we lived near each other, we often walked together, shopped for groceries, and then went home. Confessing my love to her happened naturally on a Chi-Chi festival. Although I knew she had been with Luke Adams before, I thought it was all. In the past, she had also seriously told me that she was willing to be with me. After we got married, we became the perfect couple in the hospital. Her department was much busier than mine, so I made various health soups for her body. If she was too busy, I would personally deliver them. It was just so that after her night shifts, she wouldn't feel empty and uncomfortable in her stomach. Ending the bitter memories, Julia Reed's words pulled me back to reality. She pointed at our wedding photo and said, "This outfit is so ugly." I replied indifferently, my face showing no care. "It is pretty ugly, but we're going to change it anyway, so it doesn't matter." Her expression froze, and when she saw me packing my things, she looked puzzled. Are you going on a business trip again? I was too tired to argue with her. A business trip. Perhaps that's what it is. A trip I'll never come back from. I didn't answer her, and before I could, Julia Reed grew impatient. Can you stop looking so miserable? I'm really fed up with you. I've told you 100 times, it's just a fake divorce. Why can't you understand? She then noticed the scarf I had thrown away, and her anger flared up instantly. Ben Harris, what do you mean by this? Isn't this what you wanted? Now you don't like it. You're wasting my money. With a few words, she blamed everything on me. I looked at her sarcastically. Are you sure this was meant for me? How come it smells like Luke Adams perfume? Julia Reed was choked by my words and mumbled, he just wanted to try it on for you. Why are you so petty? I had never heard of someone trying a gift before giving it. Suddenly, her phone rang again. When she answered it, her expression changed instantly. Luke, wait for me. I'll be right there. Don't do anything stupid. Seeing her rush out like the wind, I opened my phone. It turned out Luke Adams was threatening to jump off a building. Someone was live streaming it. Luke Adams sat on the rooftop, a few tears falling from his eyes. I know I'm a burden to everyone. Julia, don't save me. Anyway, no one likes or loves me. What's the point of living? Julia Reed's eyes were red with worry. Luke, don't do anything stupid. Who said nobody loves you? Am I not a person? I love you. I want to take care of you. We're getting married soon. Luke, isn't this the wish you said yourself? I'll make it come true. Luke Adams trembled as he looked at her. Are you serious? Julia, but I'm so scared. I'm afraid you'll leave me. Julia Reed carefully grabbed his hand and pulled him into her arms. You're scaring me. What would I do if you left? Don't you want me anymore? Tears fell from her eyes as the two embraced passionately. In the midst of tears, Luke Adams kissed Julia Reed, their lips locked, lost in a passionate kiss. Even the media rushed to report the touching love story between the doctor and her patient. I silently turned off the live stream. Covering my eyes, I curled up on the sofa, trembling. It was an obvious provocation. Even though I knew Julia Reed favored Luke Adams, seeing it firsthand still felt like a knife to the heart. I stayed up all night, packed all my things, and at 8:30 a.m., I sent Julia Reed a message. I'm waiting for you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. She quickly replied, got it. Just don't show up and cause trouble. By the time Julia Reed arrived, I had already taken a number. To my surprise, Luke Adams followed her and tightly held her hand. Paris, did you like the scarf? I spent a long time planning this for Julia. He had been trying to provoke arguments between Julia Reed and me in every possible way. I threw the bag with the scarf at him. Return it to its rightful owner. Julia Reed's face darkened and she was about to say something, but then the voice in the hall announced, please, number 005, come to counter 1 for the divorce process. I pursed my lips. Let's go. I almost couldn't wait to get it over with. Julia Reed looked at me in shock. She had thought I would cause a scene when I saw her. After all, the live stream from last night had spread all over the hospital. But this time I was so calm. Ben Harris, why aren't you angry? She nervously glanced at me and I frowned. Why should I be angry? Didn't you say this was humanistic care? She was left speechless. The process was quick. Less than 10 minutes, and the divorce certificate was in our hands. Now I was truly free, so I turned and walked away. Behind me, Luke Adams cheered, great, Julia, I can finally marry you. Julia Reed seemed happy, but when she saw me leave, she suddenly felt uneasy. Ben Harris, are you going to the hospital? Let me take you. I didn't look back as I continued walking. Julia Reed felt a heavy weight in her chest. Luke Adams' eyes turned red instantly. Julia, are you regretting it? It's my fault for breaking you two apart. You should just remarry. My wishes don't matter. Julia Reed's attention was quickly diverted. Don't cry, Luke, let's go. I'll marry you right now. I quietly watched them from the car. Julia Reed, we better never meet again. I knocked on the door of the director's office and solemnly handed in my resignation letter. Josh Martin immediately took off his glasses, surprised. Dr. Harris, is this because of Dr. Reed? He sighed. The patient is in critical condition, and maybe she's also considering things more carefully. Our cardiology department can't afford to lose someone as talented as you. But no matter how much he tried to persuade me, I only had one request, to resign. Josh Martin seemed helpless. Does Dr. Reed know about this? I shook my head gently. There's no need to tell her. Even if she knew, she'd only be glad to see me leave sooner. After all, she wanted to be with Luke Adams in their little world, and I was just an expendable character. Back in the clinic, I planned to work my final shift. Unexpectedly, Julia Reed rushed in. Ben Harris, what did you say to the director? Why was my training opportunity canceled out of nowhere? I knew it was you, you bastard. You just can't stand to see me doing well. The sudden outburst shocked the patients in the clinic. Without saying a word, she slapped me. My glasses fell to the floor. and Julia Reed stomped on them. I've worked so hard for this training opportunity. How could you do this? I held back my anger. Julia Reed, this is clinic hours. Please don't make a scene. Can't we discuss this privately? But she seemed completely out of control. You think this is how you're going to trap me, right? You think I'll give up on Luke just because of this? I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. You're such a malicious person. I won't let you succeed. Saying that, she swept everything off my desk, grabbed a chair, and smashed it onto my computer. The shattered pieces flew into my face, leaving a cut. I pushed her to the ground. Julia Reed, don't act crazy in front of my patients. You always claim to have professional ethics, but what are you doing now? She fell to the ground, her palm landing on the broken glass, immediately bleeding all over her hand. She then went crazy, rushing at me, punching and kicking. You hit me, Ben Harris. How could you hit me? Luke Adams arrived late and immediately started accusing me. Dr. Harris, Julia's just a bit emotional, but you've gone too far. She's put so much effort into that training. How could you go to the director and say those things? I couldn't help but laugh out loud in frustration. When something goes wrong, you don't look at yourselves. You two lunatics are really sick. Tears immediately streamed down Luke Adams' face. Please let Julia go. I'll do anything you want. Just don't make things difficult for her. Seeing him like this, I couldn't take it anymore. I quickly slapped him. I have no interest in being part of your flirting drama. You know perfectly well why she didn't get that training. Keep your disgusting thoughts to yourself. Julia Reed, still furious, was about to attack me again. Luckily, the security team arrived just in time to stop her. Some of the patients and their families had already recognized Julia Reed and Luke Adams. Aren't they the doctor and patient from the live stream? Wow, is this a love triangle? Julia Reed's face turned awkward. She clung to Luke Adams, comforting him, but still glared at me with hatred. Don't try to control me. I'll make sure I get that training. Ben Harris, you've really disappointed me. She left those harsh words, thinking I would try to comfort her as I usually did. But this time, after reassuring the patients, I packed my things and went straight to the airport. I also entrusted my apartment to a real estate agent. Everything was over. That night, when I landed in France, I saw Luke Adams post on social media. Round and round, it's still you. Julia Reed and Luke Adams' marriage certificate was glaringly visible, and many people expressed shock. Luke Adams left many affectionate comments. Thank you, baby. Baby, you are my most beloved woman. Julia Reed responded playfully. Of course I am. It's so nice not to have any annoying people interrupting us. When I clicked on the live image, I could hear the passionate sound of their kiss. It was truly disgusting. Luke Adams was trying to provoke me on purpose, but I no longer cared. Later, he posted several more photos showing off their relationship. There were even pictures of him and Julia Reed in a hotel room. I knew he had set it to be visible only to me. I didn't want to be part of their game, so I simply deleted Luke Adams from my social media. Luke Adams had been referred to our hospital 3 months ago. At first, I sympathized with his condition. After all, no one wants to get cancer For a long time, once I went to Julia Reed's office to find her, I saw Luke Adams with red eyes, tightly holding Julia Reed's hand. I've never forgotten you in these 10 years. When we broke up, it was because I had no choice. I didn't want you to suffer with me. Later, when I saw you got married, I didn't want to disturb you. Luke Adams seemed to have been deeply hurt. I know you won't want me anymore, but I'm about to die, and I want to be selfish one last time. Please, Julia, I really still love you. Are you really going to leave me? I saw Julia Reed's tense arm, and I thought she would push Luke Adams away, like she always did. But this time she took his hand. How could I not want you, Luke? After that, she boldly came to find me to get a divorce. The day after I arrived in Paris, I met someone unexpected. Senior, what are you doing here? Abigail Scott was my direct junior, and I had heard she went abroad for her doctorate later. I just told her I came out to relax and change the environment. Abigail Scott seemed to understand something and extended an olive branch to me. Senior, I've co-founded a private hospital here. Do you want to come try it? Try it, she said. But the next day, I started working and performing surgeries. Abigail Scott acted as my second assistant. Your hands are still as steady as ever. Welcome to join us. That evening, Julia Reed's phone rang. Hello, I'll be home soon. Can you cook some porridge for me? Also, I have a meeting tomorrow. Please take out that purple dress. Her tone was so matter-of-fact that I didn't react immediately. I just went away for a bit. Don't overthink it. Why are you silent? I spoke one word at a time, my tone full of sarcasm. Dr. Reed, how forgetful you are. Do I need to remind you, Dr. Reed, that we're divorced now? There was the sound of brakes on the other end, and Julia Reed instantly flew into a rage. Stop being so sarcastic. Ben Harris, didn't we agree it was a fake marriage? All that stuff on social media was just to put Luke at ease. What are you even concerned about? Stop talking nonsense and get it ready, I sneered. Julia Reed, can't you understand? Simple words. Divorce. It's a legal decision. It's our decision. From today on, you and I have no more relationship. Also, the house is already listed. All your belongings have been packed up and sent to the house in your name. From now on, we don't need to stay in touch. Without waiting for her response, I hung up the phone decisively and threw the SIM card into the Seine River. But I had forgotten Julia Reed's training was at this hospital. Ben Harris, stop. I heard a familiar voice from behind. I turned around to see Julia Reed, her eyes red, staring at me. I've been looking for you for over half a month. Why did you go abroad? Why didn't you tell me anything? What do you think I am? Her eyes momentarily showed confusion. When she got home that day, she realized that the once beautiful and warm house had become an empty shell. All the things that once carried our good memories were tossed out by me. I didn't answer the phone or reply to messages. The next day, she went to the hospital to find me, only to be told that I had already resigned. She grabbed my hand and didn't let go until someone nearby reminded her. Miss, this is Director Harris. Please show some respect. Julia Reed looked at me in a daze. After the class, she stormed into my office. Ben Harris, don't you think you should explain this to me? What is going on? Ben Harris, why did you leave without a word? Why did you sell the house? Do you know how worried I've been? Can you stop giving me trouble? After I finish my training, come back with me. I didn't understand why she still had such a righteous attitude. I gave her a sarcastic smile. Miss Reed, I thought I had made it clear before. We're divorced now, and I've started a new job. I have no plans to return to China for now. Julia Reed looked at me in disbelief. Wasn't it a fake divorce? How could you take it seriously? A flash of fireworks appeared in my vision, but my eyes were filled with indifference. We got the certificate, so it's a real divorce. Now leave and stop bothering me at work. Julia Reed obviously didn't believe me. No way. You loved me so much. How could you bear to divorce me? Everyone knew I loved her, and surely I was just throwing a tantrum. Stop being angry. I'll keep my distance from Luke, is that okay? But I simply shook her hand off. Get lost. I made it clear already. We're divorced. Julia Reed bit her lower lip tightly. She never imagined she would one day hear those words from my mouth. Don't you love me anymore? We've been together for 5 years. Are you really going to give up everything? Ben Harris, I told you Luke and I were just playing around. How could you do this? Tears streamed down her face in a continuous flow as if she had loved me deeply. I closed my eyes and opened them again. Wasn't the one who gave up first? You eschewed her Luke Adams' social media posts and stared at her. What were you doing on my birthday? You were playing games with him. What were you doing on our anniversary? You went to the restaurant I booked and did something in the hotel room I arranged. Do you think I didn't know? Those revealing photos were like ulcers slashing deep into my heart. You too, really make me sick. When Julia Reed saw the photos, her whole body shook and she almost couldn't stand. She had always thought that I knew nothing about all this. It's not like that. I just accidentally got drunk, she almost begged, as she grabbed my hand, and he's about to die. After he dies, let's remarry. Okay, if you hate him, I'll keep my distance from him. Can we talk about this when we get back to the country? If this had been before, I might have softened. But now, I had long lost all expectations for her. I had the security throw the frantic Julia Reed out. Abigail Scott shook her head, a helpless expression on her face. Senior, come look at this. This medical case definitely has issues. This was a patient transferred from the domestic hospital. The CT and case details matched, but upon re-examination, the patient had no illness at all. In other words, the case and CT scans were completely fake. I've checked this is a fake medical company. I focused and saw that the hospital's name was so familiar, and suddenly I had an epiphany. Luke Adams. He also did his checkups at this hospital. Abigail Scott smiled. It looks like his lung cancer is really suspicious. If his case is fake, then his goal was to break you and Julia Reed apart. I looked at Luke Adams' case and could almost confirm that it was a forgery. I shrugged. Looks like he's not sick, so he can be locked down with Julia Reed. That evening, after dinner, Abigail, Scott, and I were preparing to head back. I looked at her. Let me drive you. It's too late to take the bus and it's not safe. Abigail Scott gladly agreed. All right, thank you, Senior. Just as she was about to get in the car, a strong force pulled her away. Julia Reed angrily grabbed Abigail Scott's arm. You're the one who seduced my husband, right? How shameless can you be? Such a young age. Julia Reed also reassured me. Don't worry, I haven't had anything to do with him. I quickly stood in front of Abigail Scott. Julia Reed, what are you doing? I looked apologetically at Abigail Scott. Sorry, this is all my fault. Abigail Scott waved her hand generously, and I asked her to get in the car and wait for me. I knew it. I wondered why you agreed to the divorce so quickly. And as soon as we divorce, you fly off to Paris. Turns out you've been keeping a lover. Ben Harris, you're no better. You cheated. 2. Why are you blaming me? Why do you want to divorce me? Julia Reed glared at me with bloodshot eyes, accusing me of cheating. She's just a partner at the hospital. Can't you act normal? Julia Reed's face was filled with rage. If it weren't for her, you would never have left me. You two must have been together long before this. I hate you both, I shouted back. Dude, you really think everyone is like you, so unwilling to be alone? Julia Reed froze. What? My gaze filled with hatred made Julia Reed flinch. Julia Reed, when I needed you the most, you were with Luke Adams. I ask you, the ring I gave you, did you give it to him? When you gave me that second-hand scarf, didn't you think about this day? My chest heaved violently. I knew deep down I was still unwilling to accept this, especially when Julia Reed dared to blame me for everything. Her eyes were red as she wanted to explain, but found herself speechless. No, Ben Harris, I was wrong. If you come back with me, I'll listen to you from now on. Okay, I really love you, Ben Harris. You can't leave me. And I know the training has nothing to do with you now. I blamed you wrongly. She grabbed my hand, wanting to touch her chest, but I immediately shook it off. Are you done with this nonsense? If you're done, go back to the country. This is not a place for you to make trouble. My tone was so firm that Julia Reed exploded. Why? Why can you ignore me like this? You clearly agreed to a fake divorce. Why are you really divorcing me now? At this moment, I truly didn't understand. Did Julia Reed really love me? If she did, why didn't she say anything before? Why is she acting as if she would die now? It's impossible. I spoke slowly. The moment you asked me for a divorce for Luke Adams, we could never go back. Julia Reed, I don't want you anymore. She trembled and almost fell to the ground. These words struck deeply into Julia Reed's heart. How could I not love her? She suddenly remembered the time when we celebrated our one-year anniversary and I prepared a grand sea of flowers. Julia Reed, if you don't betray me in this life, I'll never betray you. What did she answer? Ben Harris, every day with you makes me imagine a lifetime. But at some point, Luke Adams entered her world again. It was all her fault. Don't you can't leave me. Julia Reed swayed, almost collapsing. You're lying to me. You must be lying. Nothing happened between me and Luke. Why can't you believe me? If you mind, I've tried my best to keep my distance from him. Oki saying that, her tears dropped to the ground. Ben Harris, I really like you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married you. This sentence, I believe, was the truth, but it's easy to fall in love, yet much harder to sustain it. Dr. Reed, please understand your position. You are just my ex-wife, to me. Julia Reed nearly knelt before me. In my heart, you're still my husband. I've long since lost any feelings for Luke Adams. Why don't you believe me? I really don't like him anymore. I only like you. At that moment, she finally understood. She had only ever felt a sense of longing for Luke Adams from her youth, but with me, it was real love. I shook my head. The issue had never been that, but rather Julia Reed's indulgence of Luke Adams. Indulgence was the beginning of the downfall of any relationship. She allowed Luke Adams to do anything she disliked right in front of her, yet with me, she was always so harsh. I was never the special one. As I walked away, Julia Reed was the first to not have the courage to chase after me. Later, she returned to the country with the rest of the group. Abigail Scott and I handed over the evidence of the falsified medical records to the police. Due to the special nature of the case, we decided to return to our home country. When the plane closed, police stormed into the hospital room and arrested Luke Adams without explanation. Julia Reed was still standing in the front. What are you doing? This is my patient. Who are you? Even after confirming the police's identity, she refused to move. It's impossible. Luke would never commit any illegal act. If you want to arrest him, you must give me a reason. I stood in the crowd watching the scene, but Luke Adams suddenly pulled me into it. Dr. Harris. So, it's you. I know. You framed me and had someone fake a medical examination to get me arrested. His words instantly placed a huge accusation on me, and all eyes turned to me. Julia Reed looked completely stunned. Ben Harris, is it really you? Why are you doing this? You weren't like this before. Why can't you just leave him alone, even though he's dying? It was so foolish of her to still believe in Luke Adams. Luke Adams started crying. Dr. Harris, I know it's all my fault. I shouldn't have fallen for Julia, but you've already divorced. Why can't you just leave her alone? I was wrong. Please let me go. Take Julia away. Julia Reed still chose to believe Luke Adams. Ben Harris, he has lung cancer. Why can't you leave him alone? Who told you he has lung cancer? My words were like thunder from a clear sky, and Julia Reed froze. Luke Adams fell to his knees crying. Dr. Harris, I never thought you could be so malicious. Would I joke about my own body? Do you think I would use this method to gain your sympathy? Julia Reed naturally didn't believe me, as she had always been the one following Luke Adams's medical progress. I grabbed the evidence I had collected and threw it right at Julia Reed. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. Julia Reed trembled. as she picked up the documents, and within seconds, she realized something was off. No, it's impossible. She clutched the documents, flipping through them, searching for any signs of forgery. But these records perfectly matched Luke Adams's previous medical files in her memory. Now she was really in a panic. Luke Adams sensed what was happening and began coughing to hide his nervousness. Julia, don't believe Ben Harris. He's just targeting me on purpose. But Julia Reed didn't stand by him this time. Instead, she stood up and slapped him hard across the face. Why have you been lying to me? Why you don't have lung cancer? Why did you make me divorce Ben Harris? You ruined my marriage. I'm going to kill you. The two immediately started to fight. Luke Adams quickly twisted his face into a grotesque smile. It's all your fault. You betrayed Ben Harris yourself, and all I did was wave my finger and you rushed right into my arms. Dr. Harris. Julia Reed never really loved you. Julia Reed grabbed his shirt. Ben Harris, please listen to me. I didn't give her any chance. In the end, the police took both of them away, and many others from the hospital were arrested as well. This fake medical record scandal, which shocked the entire city, was much broader than we had imagined. In the end, Julia Reed had her medical license revoked. She would never be able to hold a scalpel again. After working with the police to finish the investigation, Abigail Scott and I were ready to fly back to Paris. To my surprise, I saw Julia Reed outside the airport. She looked miserable, having lost a lot of weight. Ben, are you leaving again? I was wrong. Now I realize how ridiculous my mistakes were. Her voice cracked and she anxiously rubbed her hands. I don't ask for your forgiveness, but can you please help me? It turned out that Julia Reed had gotten into a huge argument at the police station, but Luke Adams refused to divorce her. You are mine in life and mine in death. You can't leave me and go back to Ben Harris. What was even more shocking was that Luke Adams had racked up a debt of over 10 million yuan. Now that he had been arrested, Julia Reed, as his legal wife, was forced to take on half of the debt. Moreover, Luke Adams had uploaded private videos of him and Julia Reed to the internet. Now, Julia Reed's reputation was completely ruined. He owes a total of 20 million. I can't pay it off. I really don't know what to do. I had no choice but to come to you. She suddenly kneeled before me. I beg you. I never expected things to turn out like this. I'm penniless and my license has been revoked. I really don't know where to go. She suddenly took off her clothes. Please, I'll sell myself to you. I can be a doctor for you or be your mistress. Please don't leave me. She stubbornly clung to me. Julia Reed, you're clearly out of your mind. I forcefully pulled away from her grasp. Why do you think I still care about you? Whether you live or die, what does it have to do with me? Get away from me. Julia Reed cried out even louder. Have you really forgotten all the years we spent together? I've been with you for 5 years. Don't those years mean anything? Why can you just abandon me with no guilt at all? I turned around and shot her a vicious look. Feelings. You are the last person who has the right to talk about that. Julia Reed stared blankly at me, and suddenly a group of people rushed over from behind her. Little, you still dare to run. Pay back the money you owe us. As Julia Reed was grabbed, she desperately pleaded with me. Ben Harris, help me. I really don't know what to do. The police arrived quickly at the airport. Once the security staff separated Julia Reed and me completely, she broke down in helpless tears. She never imagined that things would end up like this. Abigail Scott came up behind me. You're really not going to help. Those loan sharks won't show any mercy. I remained silent for a long time. But isn't all of this her own choice? The only thing I could do was report it to the police. When I had finally established myself in Paris, a message came from a friend back home. Julia Reed is dead. She went out early this morning to collect coal and was hit by a car. Apparently, several cars didn't see her lying on the ground. I took a deep breath.